make the decision that you are going to find beauty in everything in life, and you're going to learn from everything in life, and that is the only way you'll be out of suffering. Otherwise, it won't matter how much money you make, it won't matter how many people love you, it doesn't matter how many great kids you have. Are there going to be disasters and challenges for all of us, yes or no? Yes or no? All of us, I don't care how rich you are financially, I don't care how smart you are, I don't know if you have an IQ of a genius, I don't care if you've got the biggest company in the world. Every person in the room is going to experience extreme stress in your future. Everyone here will have something, a robbery, a house that burns down, an earthquake, somebody that cheats you, somebody steals money from you, somebody you totally trusted and then they screw you over, somebody that betrays you. Aren't you glad you came to this positive seminar? So you thought I was Mr. Positive Thinking. You're so wrong. See, I'm a realist. I don't believe, I'm not stupid. I don't think that everybody, I know that most people are not fit and healthy. Most people around the world do not have a relationship where they're totally passionate. Most people do not love their work. True or false? But a few do. I'm interested in the few who do versus the many who talk. I'm interested in the few that live the beautiful states versus the masses that suffer. And I also know that anyone can end that suffering in a moment if you make the decision that says, I have decided from this day forward, I'm going to find beauty in everything by being in a beautiful state. And that means if you start to suffer, by the way, you're going to suffer. We all do. Because this brain is 2 million years old, and it's going to keep acting. It's going to keep looking what's wrong. But the difference is when it comes in, if you've made the decision, you'll start to suffer. And I created for myself a 90-second rule. I got 90 seconds, get this shit out of me. In those 90 seconds, I figure out what it is, and I know how to stop suffering. I'm suffering because I'm having an expectation that's not being met. And while I think it's life and death, it's just my preference. It's my preference that you guys had more energy than we started. It's my preference that you'd have a great time. It's my preference that my kids would do everything I want them to do. It's my preference that all my employees across all these companies will do all the right things every day. God will laugh at your preferences. And what I found is I have my preferences, which are wonderful, but I'm still going to live in a beautiful state because life is precious. Hey, what if you were God? And you come down and you talk to one of your creations and you say, how's it doing down here? How's it going down here on earth? What do you think? And a person that you're talking to that you created goes, well, God, I mean, you could have done a better job. I mean, come on. Why'd you make it so freaking foggy here in San Francisco? I couldn't land my plane the other day. And why wouldn't you go planes that could cut through the fog? I mean, you're God. And why did you make all these irritating people? You know, I had so many irritating people. They try to stop me from doing things. And, you know, and also it's just like, why didn't you just make me rich? Why do I have to work? And besides that, you ever got these little ants? You know those little red ants? They're like this small, and they bite the shit out of me. Why would you create those for me? If you heard all this bitching and you were God, would you want to hang out with this person? If you were God, you might, say, I don't know. What if you go to somebody else, you go, what do you think? One of your other creations. And that person says, God, you're amazing. This is the most beautiful place on earth. This is heaven. This is extraordinary. I mean, there's so many different kinds of people, and they challenge me in so many different ways. I have to grow to understand them and understand myself. And you make the fog, and you make the sun, and it's always changing, so I'm never bored. And you make these little red ants. Damn, they're courageous. I'm 10,000 times their size, and they'll bite my ass. That's pretty cool. Who would you want to spend time with? The first person or the second one if you were God? Which one? So if you're not experiencing God, perhaps you're bitching too much. Perhaps it's not God, perhaps it's you and you're whining and you're suffering. If you want to stop suffering, first, you got to know how you suffer and recognize and be honest. Second, you can't tolerate. We all get what we tolerate. So you have to make the decision. I'm going to be in a beautiful state the rest of my life. It doesn't have to be happy. It could be determined. It could be curious. It could be committed. It could be energized. It could be grateful. It could be loving. It could be happy. It could be any of these. But I am going to be that every day because I'm capable. And I've shown you early you are, because how fast can you change your state, my friends? How fast? Come on, guys, how fast? If you stop using your mind and you use your body and your heart, your spirit, that's what'll put you there. The mind won't keep you there. It might get you there for when things go your way, your mind will feel happy. But what happens when they don't? I was talking to a man the other day, and he was telling me all about his company, and he lost the company, built it up, and it was $1 billion company. And then, the venture capitalist guys voted him out of his own company. I said, welcome to Steve Jobs' world. And then he told me this new company he's creating, but he doesn't want to put it into, he's afraid of getting hurt again. I said, you lost that company for a reason. Perhaps it's so you can build this company, which is going to save people's health. What if you and I We stop the suffering by having one new belief. Here's what I believe in my soul. Life is always happening for us, never to us. We think it's happening to us because of our minds, but it's all happening for us, even the pain, even the disappointment, even the problems. If my mother had been the mother I'd wanted, I would not be here today. I would not be. If my father had not left, I would not feed 1 billion people, much less 100 million, much less 1,000. Maybe life isn't always about getting your preferences. Maybe life is about you becoming more. And when you do, you feel more alive and you have more to give, and that's the purpose of life. Because when we're giving, we're outside of ourselves. There's no suffering when we're giving. In fact, when you're most happy and excited about something, what's the first thing you want to do? How many of you, the minute something great happens, you want to share it with somebody you love? Raise your hand if that's what you want to do. Say, I. Why? Because when you share it, there's only so much you can feel inside. Even if it's sex or rock and roll, love, drugs, whatever you think is going to make float your boat, money. You can only feel so much. But when you share it, it multiplies. So here's the antidote to suffering. Identify your favorite flavor. Make the decision that says, I will not suffer. I'm going to live in a beautiful state no matter. What if it rains on your parade? What if your best friend screws you over? What if somebody yells at you? What if you get humiliated? What if you go broke? What if you lose your job? Could you still be happy, yes or no? Are there people who've lost arms, legs, been blinded, lost their family, and they're still loving and happy and beautiful, yes or no? And they aren't just Mother Teresa, they're not just Nelson Mandela, they're any human being that decides to live where it's not about themselves. I've been on stage for 39 years, working with 50 million people. I give my all every day. This is easy, this is 3 hours. My average seminar is 50 hours. My stress here is 3 hours, because I don't like to talk, I like to go deep, as you might gather. And I like to condition it where we get up and do things, and there's only so much time. And those 50 hours, I go full tilt. And I've been doing that for 39 years, and I clap like a crazy man. I jump much more intensely in here because I'm toning it down for you guys because you think I'm crazy when I first come in, especially where you guys started with your energy. I look like a maniac. But what I found in that time is doing that, hammering like that, it damaged the nerves in my arms, and so all of a sudden I couldn't sleep on my side, which I've done my whole life. No big deal, I'll sleep on my back. It's painful, who cares? I manage pain. Every great athlete does that, every good person does that. But then my wife was freaking out saying, honey, you're choking, you're not breathing. And I was exhausted, and I went in and did a sleep study and found I had sleep apnea. But it was extreme. In 17 minutes, I stopped breathing 18 times. That doesn't make for very much rest. That doesn't make for health. So now I have this really sexy device. It's called a sleep app. You stick it on your face. It's a mask, and it pours oxygen, and you will get girls with this shit, I promise you. But they'll be in the hospital, the girls that you'll get, right? And so I'm like, I can't believe this. I'm breathing through this breather now because of these nerves. And then I'm kind of crazy. I'm snowboarding, and I rip 3 rotator cuffs. Not a problem. It's painful. I'll get it worked. But then the pain won't go away, and the pain becomes nerve pain that's shooting so bad. I know how to deal with pain. But on a 0 to 10, 9.9. And it's so severe I can't sleep. I'm in so much pain. And I don't want to do surgery. And the surgeon says, well, it's in your spine. He comes in and tells me it's not just your rotator cuffs. You have something called spinal stenosis, where it's tightening around your spine and crushing the nerves. And there really isn't a solution. We can do surgery, but it's no guarantee, and there's side effects. And the guy, by the way, first tells me, oh, I've been to your business mastery program. I'm making $1.2 million more a year. And I went this other pro. He's telling me, you changed my life. And he goes, now I got to tell you, I'm your doctor. I'm going to show you something. Your life is over. That was his bedside manner. I had not trained him, obviously, in these communication tools. And he told me, I can't snowboard, I can't play racquetball, squash, I can't jump around, I can't do this stuff, but I don't accept that. I was told I had a tumor in my brain when I was 32. It's still there, and I'm fine. I didn't treat it, I'm fine. It gave me massive growth. I was 5'1" in high school. I'm 6'7". I tell people the difference is personal growth. I had growth hormone that exploded me up. I still have a tumor, I didn't grow, so I didn't accept this diagnosis. I didn't say it wasn't there, I just said I won't accept it, there's nothing can be done. In the world we're in today, you can find answers. And so I pushed, and I know some of the best doctors around the world, and I found a doctor in Australia who said to me, Tony, we can do this. You sent me MRIs of people with similar situations, and the way they solve it is with 100 hours of hyperbaric oxygen, where you go inside a coffin, and they make it so pressured, about 65 feet below the ocean pressure, and they fill you with oxygen, and it releases 800% more stem cells, and it starts to heal. And he says to me, though, before you come all the way to Australia, which is where he is, go do these blood tests so I can see what's happening to your blood, how much inflammation you have, what's going on. And I said, okay, and I went and did it. And when I was there, the guy who was doing the blood said, you want to do a metals test? I said, you mean like mercury? I said, oh, I had my amalgams out 25 years ago. He goes, well, we do lead and we do aluminum. I said, all right, let's do it. And then the doctor calls me 2 weeks later every single day. And I'm busy, so I said, send me the report. He goes, I must speak to you on message. So I call him up and he said, you should be in the hospital right now. I said, what? He said, you have the highest level of mercury we've ever measured here in the United States. We measure on a 0 to 5 scale. If you're 3 or above, your body's so toxic, you can die. You can have a heart attack, you can have a stroke. You are 123. He said, the highest I've ever measured is 76. I said, that's impossible. How could that be? He said, we can tell by the type of mercury it's fish. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so intense in my life that I've made my diet really simple. It's salad, veggies, and fish. And the 2 fish I always had, and I'm telling you this, is swordfish, which I loved, and tuna. They are 75-year-old living fish, and they eat all the smaller fish, and they have 1,000 times more mercury today, but no one tells you this because the fishing industry would be ended if you knew it. So, and 2 other doctors looked at it, and one of the other doctors said, how long's he been in the hospital? And I just got off stage in a 50-hour seminar, 5-0, over 4 days. And I was like, no wonder I'm exhausted, because it destroys your mitochondria, which creates ATP, which creates energy. I'm thinking, I'm just exhausted because I'm working so hard. And then I was also losing my memory. And then I've always sweat, but sweat like I did when I first ran on stage here. Because if I start running, all of a sudden my body has to work so hard, it's pushing to keep going. I would be dead today if I had not torn my rotator cuffs, if I had not hurt my spine, if I'd not been in a position where I'd hurt my arm so bad I can't sleep on my slide and had to put a sleep app on. Life is always happening for us, not to us, even when it doesn't look that way. It's our job to find the benefit. And I'm telling you this now for another reason, which is please go get your metals test, because the world we're in today is so toxic that out of 12 of my friends that I told this in the first few weeks, 6 of them all had poisoning. Go get a metals test. And if you do and you've got this in your body, get it out. There's a man named Dr. Shade, who's one of the best metals guys in the world. You can find him on the web. He's made a giant difference for me. And I'm gonna get those things back. But I wouldn't have got them back unless all these horrible things has happened. I just give it to you as a metaphor for what you think is your worst day could be your best day. But it requires some faith. Faith that there's a higher purpose in everything that happens in our lives and making ourselves look for it.